What's going on, people? Welcome back. Today, I'm just gonna tell some stories today, or just one good one. Um, I told you I was gonna tell some stories about just about anything in my life. So I'm gonna go back a little bit to when I started dating after my divorce. I was with my ex-wife for 20 years. We were married for 15, had three beautiful kids. But after the divorce, it took me about a year before I started dating. So I'm at this fair this particular day. So when I come in, I walk past, they had the fair blocked off. So it was like these plastic gates all the way around. So that way you had to go to the entrance way to get in. You know, you got your little, you know how they give you the band. So if you're old enough to drink, you have to show their ID. They give you the band, and then you walk on in. So as I'm going in there, I look over, I see somebody working at a booth. So when I look at the girl, I'm like, dang. When I say she was fine, I mean long hair, high yellow, freckles on her face, and a body out this world. Banging. So I walk by, in my mind, I'm like, man, I gotta find out what old girl talking about. Even though I'm like, man, she may not be, I may not be on her level, but I'm definitely about to see what's up. I mean, cause you know, certain women got they certain what they like or whatever. So I go in there, get my little band, and I go grab me something to eat. So I grab me a little something to eat, and I walk back towards the area where the lady is at. But I walk outside because, mind you, when I was walking in the event, I could see her, you know, from the outside because her booth was right there. So I figured I'm gonna play it off. I'm gonna go back outside where I first saw the lady at because I'll be sitting right outside her booth. So I did that. So I'm sitting outside the booth, drinking my little beer I done got, I think I had like a pizza pretzel or something I was eating. So I'm sitting there. I peep her out a little, you know, a couple of times looking over there at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she thick. So, you know, doing what men do. So I turn around. I'm watching the band. Because she's right here, really to the left of me. And the band is up front. No, to the right of me. The band is up front. Anyway, so I'm watching the band, listening, drinking my beer, but I keep looking over at her, you know. Then I end up, it was a group that came up. The lady was blowing. So I'm listening like, ooh, she can blow. So as I'm listening, as I'm getting into the band, I hear somebody say, your black ass just gonna sit there? So I'm like, what? So I turn around. The lady I've been peeping out, she talking to me. So I look again. She say, yeah, I'm talking to you. So I get up. Wasn't maybe about 6 to 8 feet away. So I get up and I walk over there. I say, you know, baby girl, you gonna talk to me like that? You don't even know me like that. So she like, well, I don't mean no harm, you know. You was over there, all that, she said that dark skin shining and that pretty smile and this and that. And she looked at me and said, well, I'm not flirting with you though. So I'm like, what? So what you call it then? She was like, I'm just giving you a compliment. You know, our black men, we need to, you know, let them know when they, you know, looking good and whatever. So we continue to talk. Mind you, as we talking, I'm peeping her all out. I mean, I'm all in. So I said, well, let me go on. I said, well, I'm going to come around there. She like, all right. I come around. I come back in the event. I come back around. We kicking it. Now, mind you, the event, what she's doing at this event, she has a booth. And the booth is like, She works for a company that's like it's an advertisement company for liquor companies. So when people have events, they all had a different booth set up where they have a certain liquor and they having people taste the liquor, you know, taking little shots or whatever. And you actually pay for the shots, but they make money at the same time they advertising whatever liquor it may be. So at this time, I think she was doing Jim Beam or something like that. We sit, we talk. So I'm like, well, what time is your lunch? She tell me what time. I said, you think it's cool if we, you know, I'll take you to lunch, you know, somewhere, since the fair going on, pick one of these little places, get something to eat. She like, okay. So I walk around for a little bit. I come back when she said it was her lunchtime. We walk, and you know how fellas is. You got a beautiful woman on your arm, so 9 different fellas is looking like, you know, they looking back like, oh, you. In my mind, I'm like, yeah. So I actually see one of my coworkers working at one of the booths. His uncle owns one of the food trucks. So he give me that look like, you know, bro, that's what's up. You know, this is that or whatever. So we get our food. We go back and we sit down. So as we sitting there, she had this. I have to describe what she had on. She had on this tight shirt, belt on, and an African long dress. So the dress was kind of covering her feet. So while we eating, she's talking and she folds her legs. Let me close the sunroof. So as we eating, she didn't close her legs. She folds her legs. So as she folds her legs, I see the toes. And when I say these toes, the toenails is about this long on each toe, I couldn't believe it. And I'm looking at her and I'm looking at the feet. I'm looking at her and I'm looking at the feet. I'm not going to say the she didn't have no ugly toes and the toenails wasn't ugly, but they was just long. So, you know, I asked her about it. You know, I said, well, you don't cut those, you know, this and that. She like, no, why would I like it and this and that or whatever. So, you know, I kind of left it alone because, you know, a lot of times what it is, you interested in somebody. So your main thing is, you know, you focused on this person. You know, you want to get to know them. So you kind of slide the little stuff to the side. So I end up getting a number. Stayed out there for a while. I left. You know, she had to go back to work. Hit her up the next day, talked to her for a little bit. And actually, because it was a Saturday that I met her, the fair was from Friday to Sunday. So I went back up there, talked to her for a little bit. But that Sunday, it was real busy. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to hold her up. Let me get on out of here. I shoot a move back to the house. So we end up setting up a date. So, meanwhile, you know, most people communicate through text nowadays. You rarely talk on the phone with people, you know, whatever. So, we set up a date. We get ready to go out on the date. And beforehand, she's telling me that her father always told her, that if a guy is taking you out, he should bring you a gift and some candy. So at that point, I said, well, I don't know you well enough to be buying you gifts. You know, I mean, that's something that you do once you enter a relationship or y'all talking for a while, you know. So she like, no, not a gift like that. She was like, it can be, you know, she went to naming some things like, you know, flowers, a card, whatever, chocolate, this and that, or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I understand, no problem. So that following weekend, we end up going out. So I asked her, was it a certain place that, she wanted to go? She chose this sushi place, real nice sushi place. It's dim in there. They got the candles all on the table. So they got candles all over the table. So as we sitting there, we discussing, past relationships, things we've been through, this, and that. So she asked me about my marriage. When she asked me about the marriage and why we separated, this, and that, or whatever, I was like, that's kind of heavy to get in on the first date. I say, why don't we, ease our way into that? Because I really didn't feel like talking about that when we, out on our first date. But she was, real persistent. Like, I need to, I want to know what happened, blah, blah, blah. So I explained, I told her how long we had been together. And I say over the years, a lot of times, people grow apart. So I told her, I'm like, we was together for over 20 years. And I said, people grow apart. And, it's sad. She said, oh, no, I know why she wanted to leave. She wanted to get away from you so she could go, basically go do her thing, if you know what I mean. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, the way she said it, I can't use the words, but it was real disrespectful. So I kind of looked at her. And I think she got the hint. She said, ooh, I'm just trying to keep it real, this and that, or whatever. So I just, was like, you know what? It is what it is. Let the day go on. So, mind you, we're at the sushi place. The waitress come. So when the waitress come, she asked, what we want. But you could tell she either just got here from Japan or China or whatever. So she couldn't really speak English good. So when the lady that I'm with is telling her what she wants, the waitress, she trying to, figure it out at the same time. So the lady that I'm with, we're going to call her Cherry, just to say that. So Cherry, she goes like, I'm not here to try to eat my food and do your job. So I'm like, whoa. I understand you frustrated, but don't go off on a lady like that. You never do that when somebody got to make your food. So we finally get the order right. The lady walks away. So I'm like, yeah, you didn't have to be rude to her like that. So we kind of go back and forth. And she don't say, she told me, she said, yeah, I see now. I said, what you see? She said, I see you like what you see, but you don't like me. So I'm like, wow, that's kind of, your looks don't match your attitude, because your attitude is horrible from what I'm seeing so far. So, she looks at me and she like, is there something you want to say to me? Because all the negativity that's coming out of her mouth. I looked at her and I said, yeah, sometimes in life, sometimes you just need to shut the F up. Okay, so by this time, I'm waiting for the date to be over with. Because you done been rude to the waitress. You asked me a personal question, then you go in on me. So I'm ready to end it. You acting all, I got on my Gucci belt and my Gucci shoes and this and that. I'm like, oh, you all wrong for me. I ain't, So we finally wrap up the meal. We getting ready to leave. So when I told her, like, sometimes people need to just shut up. You would have thought that would have been like a turnoff, or, she would have been like, you know, well, this ain't working out. We should just blah, blah, blah. No, I could see it in her eyes. It was like, ooh, you know, like, yeah, ooh. So I'm like, so we go out to the car. I walk into her car. I'm like, all right, you know, thanks for the, you know, the date, this, and that, or whatever. Always a gentleman. I may say what I say, but I'm always a gentleman. So she said, well, you just gonna leave? I said, what you mean? She said, well, we didn't have dessert. I said, well, you could, she's like, well, you could sit there in the car and chill with me for a minute. So when she said that, it kind of hit me like I had forgot that I got her the little tokens for the first date. So I went to my car. I got the rose that I got for her and some chocolate and a card that I got. So I give her the stuff. So she's like, you gonna sit in while I read the card? So I get in. She reading the card. And she goes, well, dang, all you gonna put is your name? You didn't write nothing in here? You must not be trying to get no oochie. So I'm like, wow, like, I say, for real? I said, that's what you think I'm on? I'm just, you know, I'm supposed to just write a whole bunch of stuff trying to get in your pants, this is that. I say, well, I don't know you like that to express myself no further than what I did. Just put my name. That's what the first date is about, so I can get to know you. We can go from there. So we sitting there, and one thing I get to noticing is that she can ramble. And when I say she going. She's talking about black rights and this and that and this and that, and she's talking about white people, black people, but she's mixed, mind you. So I don't know if she don't know what side to be on or which way to express herself. But she dogging out black people, she's standing up for black people, she dogging out white people, she's standing for white people. The whole time I'm just listening. So, mind you, I work in a plant. So that day, it's a Friday. You don't work all week, 12-hour shifts. I'm tired, you know, and she just going. I'm still sitting in this car maybe 45 minutes later after we done finished eating, still in the parking lot. So, I don't even know I dozed off. Next thing I know, she slaps me. Not no hard slap, but one of them. So I jump up like, what the? I'm like, did you just slap me? So it took me off guard. So she bust out laughing, but I'm like, man, what type of? So I'm like, you know what? You want something different. So she like, oh no, I ain't even hit you that hard. I was just joking. I can't believe that you went to sleep on me. You know, I have men that would love to take me out. I got them knocking down my door, this and that. She steady bragging on herself. She bragging on herself hard enough nobody would ever have to give her a compliment. So I'm like, you know what? I need to get back to the house. I got things I need to do, blah, blah, blah. So she like, didn't you say you stayed in this area? I said, yeah. She said, well, I'm not too far from you. She said, you know where the ice cream dairy is over that way? I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. She said, okay, well, just let's go get some ice cream. And after that, we can, you know, call it a night. So I'm like, all right, because I'm still looking at her. Now she done turned on the sweetness, you know, so I'm looking like, well, maybe she ain't all that bad, you know, this and that. So we head on from there. It was probably about a 20-minute ride from where we were. We get to the ice cream place. Now remember, I gave her flowers, chocolate, and a card. So we get to the Dairy Queen. We get out. We in line. And it's two places the two windows to place your order. So at the window on the left, it's a white girl. At the window on the right, it's a black girl. So we were maybe one person behind getting waited on, when in the right hand where the black girl was. And the person that was at the white girl window was done placing their order. They walked away. So the white lady goes, can I help the next person? So I'm like, well, not Bay. I say, well, we can go over here. She's like, nah, I want the sister to wait on me. So we get up, finally get up there, place the order. So I didn't want nothing. I'm about ready for the day to be over with. So I said, go on and get what you're getting. So she politely asked the lady, the young black girl behind the counter. She goes in her purse, pulls out the chocolate that I just bought for her. She asked the young girl, can you take this chocolate and put it in my, she wanted a Blizzard. Put it in my Blizzard. So, right then, I'm like, oh, what is wrong with her? Who does that? Well, who do you know you can bring food to a restaurant or somebody's establishment and ask them to add that to their recipe? So, the girl backs up. Her badge says manager, okay? The black girl backs up. She look at the white girl like, I can't take something from a customer and put it in a Blizzard, can I? So the white girl says, no, that's it could be contaminant. We don't know where she got that from. If it's poison, whatever, it could spread to something else. Black girl says, I didn't think so. She said, no, man, we can't do that. So Cherry replies, the lady I'm on a date with, she replies to the girl. She says, doesn't your tag say manager? So the little black girl says, yes. She say, so why would you ask her what you can and cannot do? So at this point, I put a 20 down on the counter and I back away. Mind you, you stand outside when you're placing your order. If anybody, you've been to a Dairy Queen. So I back up. By the street pole. And I'm just leaning on the street pole like, I don't want no parts of that right there. So I back up. It's a window, two windows where you place your order at, two windows where you pick your food up. So once you place your order, you got to wait till they call you to the other window. So I'll back up, leaning against the pole. She comes over there right in front of me. Now, the whole time I'm seeing all these guys walk by and they peeping her out. I mean, they peeping her out like, whoo. But in my mind, I'm like, they don't know what's behind them looks. So as I'm sitting against the pole, she comes over there, leans on me. I mean, leans body to body. I can feel the heat coming off of her. So she all in my face, like this close. You don't see that? This close. So I'm like, okay. So she talking. She like, see, if you gonna be with me, you can't never go against me in public. Check me when we in private, but don't never go against me in public. We are united front when we go out. So I'm looking like, oh, it's a we, huh? So mind you, she's still in my face. Close enough just to, reach out and kiss her. So that's what I try to do. So when I do it, she blows in my mouth. Like, so I'm like, what the? And as she's backing up, she said, you passed the breath test. I'm like, oh my God, where did I find you at? So she gets her ice cream. Get the ice cream. We go back to the cars. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Mind you, it's not a late date, it's an early date. So right about now, it's about 6 o'clock. It's still, sun's still out. 6 or 7 o'clock, the sun's still out. So I'm like, well, I'm about to get back to the house. I want to fix dinner for my daughter, because at the time it was just me and my daughter at the house. So I'm going to fix dinner for my daughter. She like, well, you can't even just sit here until I finish my ice cream. So I'm like, man, what is wrong? So we going, this little tit for tat for about 5 minutes before I sit in the car. Once again, thinking with the wrong head, just want to, whatever. So we sitting there, and I get in the car again. I get in her truck. So I sit in the passenger seat. So I'm thinking that she's walking around her car, she about to get in the driver's seat. No. She hops her butt in the back, props her feet up on the armrest. Now, mind you, she got them toenails. So I'm like, I say, why would you put your feet right there when I'm sitting up here? Mind you, this is our first date, but we arguing like we done known each other for 30 years. Like an old married couple. So I'm looking at her feet like, why don't you put your feet down? She was like, oh, sister, I can't get a massage or nothing. So I'm like, I'm not massaging your feet. So, mind you, the 3 times that I've seen her, the first day that I met her, the second day that I went back up to the booth, and then the date, she done had on sandals. Because ain't no way you could fit them feet with them nails in those shoes unless you buying 2 sizes too big. So, after she asked me that, she like moved her feet and some ash fell off. So I asked her, I said, you got dandruff on your feet or something? So she like, oh, we cracking jokes. That's how you gonna talk about me? You don't know me that well, blah, blah, blah. I got men that would love to rub my feet, that try to rub my feet all the time. I say, well, you need to call one of them, because I'm not touching them. And I say, matter of fact, you need to cut them nails, because I know it's some type of fungus or root growth on the bottom of them boys. You need to do something with them. So she like, oh, you going in, this and that. So we sat there for a minute, and I finally end up getting out the car and heading to the house. And you would have thought that she would have stopped calling, been done with it. No. That's just one of many stories that I have of sharing. So, if you like the video, hit like, subscribe. This is JB Blessed. Much love to y'all. Peace.